Okay, good morning and welcome along to the video. So our Staying Well While Staying Home series, a collaboration between Siel, Bleu Ireland and the Irish Cancer Society. So you're very welcome along to today's workout, and I'd like to bring this to you today. As always, just our quick checklist of space, good chair to use, bottle of water at the ready, and always I have two weights here also. You can always use tins, bottles, anything that you have that can give you a little bit of extra resistance. Format today, just making a couple of little alterations just as we develop the series and continue the workouts, just to keep them enjoyable and engaging for you. So we're just going to have two little mini circuits of work, combining some of our strength and aerobic movements. So things like a squat or just working on the legs, while also adding movements like walking with our weight, things like that. So it'll just be a slightly different format, but we'll be absolutely fine, and we can give adaptations. Main thing is any movement that feels painful, just stop movement. If you need to do a movement seated instead of standing or taking the weight away, any little changes, we can make them during the workout. No problem at all, Mariette. No problem at all. Any issues later, don't be afraid to get in touch. And yeah, hopefully the electricity back for you later. So what I'm going to do is start the warm-up as we tip into 10 o'clock and just get the body moving to begin. So first thing, we'll just begin with the shoulders, as I'll often do, or always do. Just to lift and start rolling back slowly here. So just get the shoulders slowly rolling back. Change direction and roll the shoulders forward. So very simple, straightforward as we begin. Bringing hands to shoulders and beginning to elevate the elbows next, just to about shoulder height. Elbows up and down to about shoulder height. We're opening up areas like our shoulders, around the chest. Keeping the elbows elevated. I now open elbows from front to side. Just slowly opening out from front to side. And back down, just to bring the hands up next, just to press forward, straight out from chest. And we'll just bring that into a side to side now, just opening up the movements a little bit. Just pressing out from chest, stepping side to side. And return, pausing the movement, reach forward, twist the hands, pull back. So we think of a rowing motion, and I break it down, and I reach, twist, pull back. So each time rowing nice and low, pulling those hands back, keeping the elbows narrow enough as I come back, and I just get a little connection with the back of my body here as I row and pull back. And down. Just relax the arms down. Just bringing it into a march next, nice and light. Always with the warm-up, the function here is just to gradually bring that heart rate up. Start to switch on, connect with parts of the body we're going to work in the session. So you're just checking in, does the chest, the shoulder, the back of these areas feel okay? Before we start to push them harder with weight. And just warming, loosening everything out as we go also. Next movement, I want to straighten the arms out, just to bring hands to shoulders from an elevated position. So the elbows staying in front. And I just lightly curl hands towards shoulders. Just kind of moving through all these parts, checking all in with all these different body parts before we start to work everything harder. And back down, return to march, nice and light. We'll start to focus now on some of our lower limb actions. So first movement here, curling legs back. Just think heel towards bum. Nice and light, curl the leg back. Any point you need that chair for a little support, just of course to use it here. Okay, next action, just want to bring a little bit of height in with the knees. So I'm not worried about the speed, just looking to bring a little bit of elevation in here. Nice big lift of each knee. And from here, tapping the toes out to the side, so just opening up the legs, a little bit from the hips, stretching out to the side. And then again, I'm just going to return, curling leg back, heel towards bum, curling the leg back, just lightly swapping one side to the next. Moving into our high knees again, just showing you from the side, just keeping the body straight, that you don't bend forward into the movement here. Good lift of each knee, thinking about elevation and height as opposed to going really fast here. And then again, just tapping toes out to the sides. Just stretching the legs out to each side. Okay, just returning it. Might take hold of your chair here. Just want to touch in with the ankles. Nice slow circle. In drawing as big a circle as you can through the toes of the right foot. So you can see there, I'm just moving nice and slow, as opposed to rapidly or going around really fast. If I slow this movement down, I can get a much better connection and really check in with the ankle here. So before we start to get really active in this session and moving up and down, walking with our weight, just making sure those ankles feeling good. Reverse, change direction. Nice and slow. Round in circles. And down. Swap sides. And again, I think just works taking that support here. I don't have to worry about balance or anything. Nice big circles through the toes of the left foot. As big and open as a circle as I can as I go along here. And then reverse, change direction, continuing at those nice big circles through the toes of your foot. And down. Okay, so our warm-up is finished. We move into our circuit. Again, I will lead majority of this work as standing exercises. Anything can be adapted if there's a knee, a hip, shoulder, chest, anywhere that doesn't feel comfortable with the movement, change the exercise as required. So the movement I'm going to work today is our split stance, sit to stand. So just where we change our foot position as we squat up and down. If you want to do this as a regular foot stance, that's okay. If you need to do this as a seated action, we can work through a regular leg extension. If for any reason the squat up down motion isn't something that works for you. So we're going to bring the clock on here in a couple of seconds. I will demonstrate the movement once and then I'm going to put the clock on. 4 movements in a circuit format here. So, sitting slightly forward in the chair, feet about shoulder width apart here. What I want to do is bring my left foot forward. So you'll see the left foot is in front, the right foot is behind. From that position, I'll cross the arms, raise the elbows, and I will stand up. And I will feel more work through the right leg, which is placed behind. So let's put the clock on. I'll go through that one more time, and then we'll start. So feet about shoulder width, left foot in front, arms crossed, elbows raised. 3, 2, 1. I stand up tall from the chair, sitting back down. Movement I've worked on previously in the series, and we'll build this one up again just from the start, and we can start to add weight in as we go along. But just today, let's just get a feeling for this motion again. The idea being you're feeling more work through that right leg, which is back. Make adjustments. Anything doesn't feel comfortable, adjust the stance. Maybe that left foot is too far ahead. If it doesn't feel natural, make the change. If you don't like this foot setup, a regular up and down from the chair, absolutely fine. I'm exhaling as I stand. I'm inhaling as I lower. My back is staying straight, so I'm never bending. And I'm feeling all of the work through my right leg. One more time, if comfortable. Down. And rest, okay? Just going to set the position up. Now my right foot is placed in front. So right foot in front, left foot is back. And that left leg now going to take more of the load through the movement. We'll cross the arms, raise the elbows. So we're in position, couple of seconds, I'm going to count us in. So beginning in 3, 2, 1, I stand up tall, return back to the seated position. Make adjustments. You know, how you set up at the start may not feel perfect for the actual motion you then execute. So, for example, if I needed to just adjust the feet a little bit, based on how I initially set up, I will do that. Again, exhale as I stand. Inhale, refuel as I lower back down. My back remains straight throughout the motion. Think of keeping your chest up. And I'm putting the work and the load through that back left leg. So I feel from a muscular point that left leg is really working hard on this one. Take your time. No need to rush. We work for a good block of time on the clock, so there's no need to rush. Then you get plenty of repetitions performed. One more time if comfortable. And back down. And rest, okay? There's always that 30 seconds or so in between. Take a sip of water if you need. Next action. You can do this without weight. If you don't have space, simply march on the spot or march in your chair in the seated position if you need. If you have the space, what I want to do is with or without your weight, I'm going to use weight, walk up and down for the duration here. In 3, 2, 1, begin. Do just excuse me, kind of walking straight into the camera really close. But for me, this way will work best up down. It just gives me the most space, whereas if I went side to side, I'm a bit restricted. Again, work at a pace that's good for you. Ease your way in. Getting a feel, you're holding the weight throughout the movement. So I can work at a nice brisk pace if comfortable. Or at a slower pace if I need to, with or without the weight. And remembering, if you don't have the space I do here, march on the spot. And we'll work exactly the same. And rest. Okay, one final action. Take a couple of seconds, catch your breath, rest the weights down if you need, take a sip of water, and we'll set up shortly now. Fourth final action, and then we'll just pretty much continue the circuit straight as is. So we'll take our two weights again. So go for a hammer curl today. Bear the weights as if you were holding a suitcase, I'll always say for this one. Let's come a little bit closer. Elbows by me resting ever so slightly to the side or in front rather than pinned back really tight. In a comfortable position. Lift the weights up, lower back down. So I think one head of the dumbbell up towards my shoulders. Elbow each side in a fixed position. So the elbows don't move forward and back. They stay in a fixed position. Weights up towards shoulders, slowly lower back down. So up as far as I can, stretch down as far as I can. Exhale as I bring the weight up. Inhale as I lower down. And really important also here, just keep the angle nice and straight. So you'll see I'm not driving inwards, I'm not going to flare out wide. I just want to keep that angle really straight, up and down, keeping all of the work, all of the load through the arms. Last couple of times, if comfortable to do so. Once more. Rest down. Drop the weight. May take a couple of seconds. Just going to work through exactly the same again. Just take note on that first round. Of course, take a sip of water as you need. But anything that didn't feel good there, make a change. So if you didn't like walking up and down with the weight, maybe you want to do that without weight. If you need to turn something seated instead of standing, make those changes and set at a pace that's comfortable. We want challenge, maybe you feel your leg, your arm, your shoulder working from a muscular point. But in terms of exertion, you're not completely breathless, you're not pumping sweat and really uncomfortable. So challenge, welcome, good, but all in control as well. But let's begin. Straight in, round 2. So, again, I have my chair, I'm just sitting slightly forward, feet about shoulder width, and I will place the left foot forward. So changing that stance, left foot forward, right foot back. Cross the arms, raise the elbows, 3, 2, 1, begin. Stand up tall, sit back down, and make an adjustment if you need. I just feel I'm a little bit far there, so I adjust. And now that feels perfect. Keep the back straight. Always just returning to the seated position with this movement. Just to keep us kind of smooth and in line. And mechanically we're keeping everything tied in nicely here. I'm feeling the right leg, which is further back, doing most of the work. In a sense, I'm taking the left leg out of the equation in terms of the workload. It's still keeping me balanced and comfortable to the position. It's not entirely inactive, but we're putting more work through that right leg. Again, just at your pace that's comfortable, never feeling the need to shoot up, down really rapid. Just keep it controlled. And down. Reset. Again, keeping that width between your feet. Now placing the right foot in front. Left leg is further back as a result of that right foot going forwards. Arms cross. Elbows raised. We have a couple of seconds. Just catch your breath. No need to rush. I'm going to time us in. So beginning the action in 3, 2, 1, begin. Stand up tall, return to seated position. Again, just make adjustments. If you just feel the feet are a little bit off, you're not comfortable, make that change now. Otherwise, we're keeping the back straight. Exhale as I stand. I'm refueling, taking air in as I lower back down. I'm working really hard through that left leg. So I'll feel less tension on that front right leg. And a really nice variation. I'm going to work each leg nice and hard. Last couple of times if comfortable, and again just reminding yourself not to rush, keep the pace under check, that you're happy with what you're doing. One more time if comfortable, and down, and rest. Again, sip of water, we're going to move into the walking up and down again. If you need, again, do this without weight. If you don't have space, you can just march on the spot or in the seated position. Okay, so I'm going to take my 2 weights. A couple of seconds just to set up. Have your 2 weights, and I'm just going to walk forward and back. Beginning in 3, 2, 1, and we start. Pace, work according to what feels good. Just slowing it down if you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Brisk if everything feels comfortable. The last couple of times, or just continuing on the spot. And rest, okay? Again, take a couple of seconds if you need a drink of water. The next action again will be our arm curl variation. So for this one again, I'm going to take hold of our 2 weights. Again, I'll always say, just imagine holding a suitcase. Elbows just relaxed ever so slightly in front and to the side. From this position, in 3, 2, 1, lift weights up towards shoulders, lower back down. Lifting straight up, lowering back down. Breathing out as I lift the weights up, the exertion. Inhale as I lower the weights down. Keeping the angle nice and straight, up and down towards the shoulders. Just think about as much connection, feeling through the arms as we can here. And just checking in. Another couple of times here. Another few reps left. If everything feels good. Again, just thinking about as much of that workload through the arms, no arching through the back, just keeping everything else steady as we perform the action. 2 more to finish, if comfortable. And rest down. Drop the weight. Take a breather, take a couple of seconds. Again, check in with yourself, okay with everything. Reckless, uncomfortable, slow the pace down, choose an easier adaptation, maybe taking a little bit of weight out from the walk, for example. Everything feels okay, just continue as is. And just maybe make a note, 3rd round, some of the movements might feel a little bit tougher. Well, let's keep it going. Again, taking a longer break if required. So, let's step up again. I'm sitting comfortably in the chair, feet shoulder width, left foot placed in front, just a little bit further ahead of the right. Arms crossed, elbows up. 3, 2, 1, I begin. Standing up tall, Returning back to the chair. Again, just the foot position feels a bit off, make the change. Don't continue if it doesn't feel right. If you don't like this stance, just go for a regular foot position as you stand up and down. And we can go with that leg extension if we've run out of power with this action. Or just don't like this movement. And again, just kind of take a note of the pace that you work. It's comfortable. Sometimes we can start to really speed it up. Maybe to a point where it gets uncomfortable. But just keeping it all under check. My back stays straight. Feeling that right leg really active. Keeping that chest up. Once more, if comfortable. And back down. And break. Okay, take a couple of seconds. So, keeping that nice width between your 2 feet. Now just placing the right foot further forward. So now we'll work that left leg. Cross the arms. Lift the elbows. Take another couple of seconds here. And I will guide us in. Beginning in 3, 2, 1, and I'll start. Standing up tall, returning back to my seated position. And just keeping that little bit of width between your 2 feet, keeping the back straight. That chair is always behind just to guide me comfortably with the movement. And I'm continuing at a pace that's comfortable. I know I will perform a lot within the time, so there's no need for me to rush through the action. As I drive and stand up, I'm breathing out. Inhale, refuel as I lower back down to the chair. Simple adjustments. Take a little bit of a longer pause at the bottom if you need. Take a second or 2 extra at the top position. Control the movement. Make it work best for you. And back down. Okay, rest down. We'll move into the walking next. Again, if you want to do this marching on the spot, if you don't have space, if you want to do it without the weight, with, without the weight, seated position, these are all little changes you can make. Okay, so we're going to take our 2 weights. Again, I'm going to begin in a couple of seconds. I'll time us in. So I'm going to do it weighted in 3, 2, 1, I begin. And again, do just excuse me kind of walking straight into the camera here. But important that you kind of use a nice open space if performing it as a walk. And if you just don't have that space, marching on the spot. Pace, I like to kind of brisk pace. And, if you're finding it's a little bit tough at this point, slowing that down as a pace. Last couple of times up and down, or just finishing out on the spot. I'll go down one last time to finish. And rest. Okay, take a couple of seconds. Final action again will be just to finish with the arms. Okay, so not too much to set up here. Just take our 2 weights. Again, just think about those elbows in a fixed position so they won't move during the action. They stay fixed roughly to my side and just ever so slightly in front. They're resting in a comfortable position. Let's begin. Lifting the weights up towards shoulders, stretching back down. Up towards shoulders, straight back down. Again, I'm just showing from that side position, just taking note little things like that we don't arch or sway. I want as much of the load through the arms, so nothing else moving here. All of that work and tension through the arms. And again, just that exhale as I curl the weights up. Inhale as I lower back down. Just going to finish from the side position. Check in on the time. Last couple of repetitions here, if you're comfortable. Once more. Rest weight down, okay? So, take a breather, take a couple of seconds, take a drink. That is round one of your circuit finish. So as you just finish that, I'll guide us from that into the next circuit. So we worked our legs and we tried to just tailor and focus in on each leg one at a time, building strength in the legs. That's something we want every single session. We worked the arms, and then we had more of an aerobic movement with the walking, but we also included weight. So, for example, your shoulders switched on as you bear the weight. So, a lot covered round one, or circuit one. What I'm going to do now is introduce a second circuit of movement. A little bit more of an aerobic focus here, but we still have our strength work integral here as well. If you find the work is very difficult, we're all at a different pace, so if you've been doing these workouts for a long time, maybe you're comfortable to now move ahead and go for another circuit. If you find that you're new to this and that was really difficult, maybe you feel that was enough for today, it's perfectly fine to break the workout up. Maybe you want to even return to the next segment here later in the day. So don't be afraid to make those changes as your body feels, what feels right to you. Well, let's begin and introduce our next block of work. So the first movement that we want to do is to grab our weight, and we're going to introduce a shoulder movement. Two movements combined as one. Palms face down, grasp the weights, arms are straight. I will raise the weights in front, shoulder height, lower down, open to the side with my hands, and then raise to the side. Any difficulty with this movement, focus on the front only or the side only. So if there's one range that feels good to you, you can just do that, or you might like to break it down, just working one arm at a time. So that can be a nice way to just adapt this. And again, that can be done seated if required. So let's begin. So, grasp the weights, arms straight, palms down. 3, 2, 1, we begin. Raise in front, shoulder height, no further. Lower back down. Take your time, set the hands to the side, and raise. So week 1 and 2, since we began since Christmas, we've worked our front raise, we've worked our side raise, and we'll just do little challenges like this on occasion, just to kind of keep the challenge there. Sometimes we add little combinations like this, front and side. Shoulder height is kind of the maximum range. We don't need to go any higher, but I'll often say with these classes, if you have, for any reason, going to that height doesn't feel good, if you felt you had to stop a bit below shoulder height, then just work with your shoulders on this one. Don't force it beyond what they're comfortable with. Exhale as I raise in each position. Inhale as I lower. Take your time as you transition and open up between the two ranges. One last time. And down. Okay, your next action. Just set this one up. I want you to bring your hands to stand in front of your chair. One we've worked a lot. So this is aerobic in terms of movement. We'll connect with the hips. And we'll also keep the upper body active by bearing the weight. So take hold of your 2 weights. You can do this without weight if you prefer. Very simple. You want to lift the right foot up and then lift the left foot. So let's continue. You'll notice I just lightly tip the chair. I'm not stepping onto it and putting any weight through the chair. I very lightly tap. Secondly, I'm going to keep my upper body straight so I don't bend. And then I continue to bear the weight, holding that load. Simple changes, no weight. Working the seated position if you need. Always making changes. Yeah, even the chair, not necessary. I just like to have that tangible something to aim for. So I know I'm getting a good height and a good connection with the hip every time I lift. Rest the weight down, not required in the next actions. Again, this movement, this next one, areas like your core, very much active, hip, but also just aerobic in the form of movement. So we're not using any weight. Perform this in a seated position. If you find in any way uncomfortable with balance, just performing exactly the same position from the chair. What I want to do is just lightly bring the arms in front, slightly clench the hands. I want to lift my left knee up high and rotate the body across. So how that looks, left knee towards right elbow. Just work through that range. I don't want to turn this into a huge movement. There's going to be a big separation of space still between the 2 positions. I don't want to bend like this and push it too hard. So just think, lift the knee, rotate the body. We don't need to push the position too close, i.e. that elbow and knee. I'm not going to worry so much about touching off each other. I want to remain strong and balanced through the position. So I just think rotate the body, lift the knee, and the 2 positions will just naturally close in without having to worry about physical touch. And kind of things like bending the back where we might just go a little bit off and feel unbalanced as well. Once more. And down, okay? Just reset, shake the legs out. Just going to do exactly the same action. Rotate, so my left elbow now, and lifting the right knee. Again, make sure you feel balanced. Seated position if needed. And as I say, don't worry about trying to touch off and pushing this really harshly as a motion. Just get a feel for it, work in the range that feels comfortable. Arms in front, right knee up, rotate. Again, see, I just naturally narrow the position between knee and elbow. Again, without worrying about physical touch and working to a point where I'm starting to lose balance and control here. Work at a pace that's good to you. Get a feel for the action on this first round. Slowing it down. Continuing brisk if comfortable. Again, you see, I want to be kind of nice and light through the action. I don't want to be really rigid and blocky and bending. And I think the less I focus on physical touch and trying to have to get the knee up to elbow or anything like that, I think the better, more comfortable the motion is. Once more, and down. Okay, just shake it out. Take note of that, round 1 finished. Any action there you don't like, caused pain, make the change. For example, seated there instead of standing. If you didn't like the weight when you were tapping the chair, get rid of the weight in that position. Everything feels okay. Let's continue into round 2. And then even just little changes. If you need to slow the pace down, maybe at this point you feel now it's getting really difficult, don't be afraid to slow the pace down. Don't feel you have to match what you see on the camera. So let's begin. 2 weights. Put the clock back on. So, front raise, side raise combination. My arms are straight, palms down, raise in front, return, open to the side, and raise out. So we work between the two positions, front and side. Exhale as I raise the weight up. Inhale as I return, and just taking my time as I set up the two positions. So I don't want to rapidly move from front to side. I just ensure that I open the position before I raise. If you find it tough, work with one arm at a time, or even just work on one position. Maybe you like side but not front, or the other way around. Perfectly fine to just break it down. Again, the weights will not go above about shoulder height, and I may not even quite reach that height, and that's perfectly fine. Back down, okay? Rest the weight briefly. Let's set up here. So again, my chair is in front. I'm going to hold the weight. You can do it without the weight. I'm going to lightly tap in front, keeping the body straight. So, let's begin. Couple of seconds. So I'm in front of my chair again without begin. Couple of seconds. So I'm in front of my chair again without your weight, doing it in a seated position if you prefer, just you lifting the knee. 3, 2, 1, I begin. Tap and tap. So again, I'm not putting any weight into the chair, I'm not leaning. I'm rather just getting a nice big lift to the knee, switching onto my hip every time I lift that knee. My body stays straight, so I'm never bending as I lift the knee. And then you're holding the weight, so continue to stay active through the arm, shoulder as you hold the weight. Again, work at a pace that's comfortable. Don't feel you need to go really fast here. Just think that you're getting a good lift of the knee each time. Last couple of times. And rest the weight down, okay? Again, always take your sip of water, your breather. I always kind of setting up the movements and explaining, but I always kind of expect that in those times you're just catching your breaths, taking a drink of water as you need. So, again, we're going to move into our knee lift, and again with that rotation. So, a couple of seconds, let's set up, the arms up. I'm going to lift the left knee and rotate across with that right elbow. Beginning, 3, 2, 1. Making any change you need, seated instead of standing. Again, work at a pace that's comfortable. Tough enough action. If I go really fast here, I'll probably tire out very quickly. Just looking to work at a pace that I feel I can maintain for the duration of the action. So I lift the knee, rotate the body across. And again, there's still plenty of width even at the maximum position of lift and rotation. So don't need to push it too hard. So I want to make sure that you're balanced throughout the action. Just keeping it nice and light. Light little spring, lift of the knee, rotate across. Last time, and down. Okay, just shake the legs out. You might feel around the hip, just get a little bit tired. Just shake the legs out. And then we'll work into the opposite side here. Okay, a couple of seconds, and again, take your water all along the way if you need. Let's begin. Okay. Keep that on track. Arms up. Now I lift my right knee and I rotate the body across. Right knee up, left elbow, I rotate the body across. And we're showing a couple from the side, so you'll see how I'm not going to push it to a position where I'm bending or feel uncomfortable. Really important that I feel strong and balanced through the movement. I should say this knee here is soft, so I'm not too uptight and rigid. I'm nice and relaxed, nice and soft in the stance. And again, if you find this a really tough action, take it in a seated position, slow the pace down. So you'll see the difference if I just slow it down, reset. So we can break this down into a much more kind of manageable, controlled movement if I find the pace really tough. I'll finish it out the last couple of times. Once more, and down, okay? Third, final round of our second circuit. Same 4 movements, one more time. If you feel there's too much in that, it's perfectly fine to just move into your cool down. Take a couple of minutes to cool down. If you feel one more round is okay, let's move into that. But again, by this time, what maybe felt easy at the start might be starting to feel tough. Make adjustments, maybe you need to leave weight out of the movement. Maybe you need to take seated instead of standing. So do adjust. Just because you did it once standing, don't be afraid to make a change as required. So first action, grab the 2 weights. Palms down, arms straight. And I work the 2 positions. Front, open to the side and raise. So that combination action, front and side. I exhale as I raise. Inhale as I lower. Again, I'm not going to work it too high. If I feel just below shoulders is enough, that's okay. Breaking it down 1 arm at a time, or just choosing one angle to work, front or side, if that feels better. And rest down. So again, let's just set up. Final couple of movements here. So again, I'm going to have the chair and I'm going to work with the weight. But again, by this point, you might say, you know, I need to work this one without the weight. Just feeling a little bit tired at this point, make that change. So let's begin. Couple of seconds here. Keep the body straight, chair in front, working in 3, 2, 1, beginning the action. Clap, tap. Again, just keeping it really light and getting a good strong lift of the knee. I'm not putting any weight into the chair. Keeping my body straight as I continue to hold the weight. Back stays straight, holding the weight, or maybe not. Maybe you're working in the chair, lifting knee one at a time. Whatever is feeling right to you at this point. The last couple of times, if comfortable to do so. And rest. Drop the weight down. Let's move into the final actions. Okay, so again, remembering this is a tough enough one. If you find you need to do this in the chair as opposed to standing, make that switch. Again, keep the pace controlled, no need to rush. Arms up, lifting the left knee, rotate the body across. I'm not going to push it harsh and bend and feel I have to touch the knee off. Just want to keep this balanced and strong throughout the movement. not feeling uncomfortable or unbalanced. And if I do, I'll take up the seated position. Knee up, rotate body across. Last couple of times. And once more. And down. Just shake the legs out. Okay, we'll just finish out on the opposite side. Okay, so let's set up here. Arms up, lift right knee, rotate body across. Right knee up, rotating body across. Again, I think the likes of my core active, might feel around your hip a little bit tired. Different areas, staying strong and balanced through the leg that doesn't move, and keeping that knee nice and soft. So that facilitates the movement. I'm not too tight and rigid through the action. Last couple of times. And once more. And down. Okay, excellent. A lot of work covered there today, slightly different formats. And what we want to do is begin the process of cooling down. So maybe as you take your drink of water, might you just like to rest against the back of your chair here. And we'll move into a couple of light movements, gradually bringing the body back to rest. We worked hard there today. I'm just going to talk us through some of the things we did as we cool the body down. Start off very simple. After you've taken your drink of water, just lightly stretching the legs back, just tapping your toes into the floor. So on that second round, we had our shoulders. We worked from two angles. So we worked on those shoulders. Again, we did a little bit of aerobic work there in terms of when we're lifting the knee, our rotation, our elbow knee movement. With areas like our core, hip, but in the whole context, with a lot of kind of strength focus today. And that's something kind of from talking to people, a lot of people are mentioning things like just feeling a little bit weaker through the arms, shoulders. Maybe we can get out for walks at the moment, or either aerobic work, but the strength work a little bit tougher when we're confined at the moment. So hopefully that format was okay. Don't be afraid to let me know. Too hard, too easy. If you need me to give more variations. But as I say, I just want to keep the session evolving, so we're not doing exactly the same style each time. But it'll just keep you engaged, hopefully, and just keep the challenge in the session. Next position, and again, that chair is here. Just tap the heel and your toes pointed up to the ceiling. Just nice and light, tap and heel into the floor, your toes pointed up. Okay, you might turn to face your chair. It's going to take a longer stretch for the leg. Make sure you feel balanced. Bring the right foot behind. Grab hold of the foot if comfortable. Gently pull the leg back. If you feel unbalanced, don't like this one, just continue that position without the foot hold, if that makes sense. And rest down. Swap sides. Left foot back. Grab hold. Gently bring the leg back. And down, reset, shake the legs. Once more. I'm just going to bring right foot behind, grab hold of the foot if comfortable, gently pull back, and I'll feel a nice stretch through the thigh, front of the leg here. And back down. And again, I'll curl the left leg back, grabbing hold of the foot if comfortable. Gently pulling the leg back, stretching out the front of the leg, the thigh here. And down. And just with the shoulders slowly rolling back, just a nice relaxing motion. Just gradually returning the body back to rest here. Change direction and bring the shoulders forward in circles. Okay, just want to fold the arms. Just going to bring one hand on top of the other. Just rotate to the right. And left. And then again over to the right. And left. And once more in each position. Exhale, relax the arms forward. Same again. Okay, and I'll just finish out, rolling shoulders back once more, just nice and relaxed. And then just to bring shoulders forwards. Okay, so that concludes our session today. Any issues on that? Too hard, too easy? Don't be afraid to get in touch. Hopefully you enjoyed the workout. I'll be back next Wednesday at the same time. So enjoy the rest of your week and hope you enjoy the workout. Thanks very much for tuning in. So I'll see you again next week.